That was amazing. That was incredible. We got some
you.
fantastic feedback online to that.
Yay!
Just absolutely loving it. So, an interesting story just about the ambiguous track, because when we played the Jazz Cafe, I remember, I mean, these things happen. The band weren't actually that familiar with the track, and that was at the time. It was a very big track. It was very popular, and you managed to get the band to learn it in about 20 minutes in the dressing room.
That's my style.
I mean, normally with these things, everything's carefully rehearsed, all that sort of stuff. And
Not with me.
but it sounded incredible when it was actually live on the night. It was absolutely amazing. I hadn't seen that done before. Normally, as I said, we do lots of rehearsals and all that sort of stuff. But I was so impressed how you managed to pull everything together in such a short period of time. The whole set was amazing, but just how you managed to pull that song off in such a short period was special. So I wanted to talk to you a bit about that, because you mentioned earlier that was Jay Felix who produced all that.
Yep.
And I think you felt at the time, not that those songs aren't great, but at the time that wasn't you, that was someone else's music effectively, and now you're doing you. So talk about that journey and that transition.
Yeah, that was a really beautiful period in my life, yet very messy and very confused and very kind of segregated. The parts of me were sort of all over the place. I had a lot of aspects of myself. You know, the music, the ambiguous stuff was really one of them. But I hadn't yet found my own sound, so I was gigging. You know, I was up to 8 times a week. I was a session singer. I've been gigging my whole life since I was 15 professionally. And I was really insecure, and I had all these different Abbies, and they were all real me's, but they were very separate. So I was a jazz singer and a soul singer, and I did hip-hop stuff, and yeah, I just didn't know who I really was. And so I was working with Joe. He's an amazing guy. He's a good friend of mine. And I just put my voice on his sounds kind of for this record deal with True Thoughts. And that was a nice vibe, but there was always something in me that just felt like, I need to find out who I am. And I really struggled to do that until when I was 26 and I was diagnosed with cancer. And it was just this big wake-up call of like, Abi, you're not living your full potential. You know, on paper I had a record deal, I was doing great things, but I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I had no sense of like, I don't know, any internal relationship with myself. It was all just different me's outside. And so when I was diagnosed with cancer, strangely, it was a really beautiful time after the initial shock, where I started to actually unravel those layers and just start to get a sense of who I really was. And I had a lot of insecurity, and I went on a big journey of self-love, and that's kind of really where all this new music came from.
Because that journey was much more than the music. That was all about you, wasn't it? It was about your entire self. So talk to me a bit about that.
Yeah, well, I guess the title Get Deep for me was really about my understanding of being a human before was just like, we exist, we get up and we go, we do things, I attain things, and my success is based on how many gigs I do, or how chilled I was with that person in that conversation, or if I like didn't get jealous like one day. You know what I mean? I would define myself so much on my behaviors and try and squeeze myself into an acceptable version of Abi, and like it was really exhausting. But I didn't know any different. I didn't have framework. I was very sensitive kind of child, and I developed a lot of masks to survive in the world. And basically Get Deep was my discovery that there was more. It wasn't just about this kind of external life. One day I tuned into my body, basically. I didn't even know what that meant. Put my hand on my body, and I said, I knew I just felt so uncomfortable. It was like unbearable. And I just said to myself, what do I need to know? And immediately this pain in my chest was just overwhelming. And yeah, after that point, I got into meditation and stuff, and just sort of having a relationship with my inside. And that's when I found out I had cancer. And this pain in my chest was an 11 centimeter tumor. And I went on a journey then to find out why my body was not connecting to my spirit, my soul, myself. And it was fascinating. I just kind of found out along the way that there were parts of me I had just shoved out of my awareness that I didn't want to love, that I wanted to go away. And the more I started to come into those parts and love them, and I did this a lot through music and putting a band together and daring to be myself, and then seeing it and cringing and going, oh, you know, I love you, it's okay. Starting to love myself. That's how I ended up healing my cancer. You know, I did a lot of different things, but that really was, the odds were that I was not going to live at all. And that I really put it down to my willingness to go into those depths and love them and accept them. And yeah, it kind of reversed, you know, dramatically. And yeah, so it's all the story, the music, it's all completely entwined.
And you've also talked about a concept, dis-ease,
yeah,
eye disease.
Yeah, dis-ease, yeah. So it was like I literally felt no ease in my body. It was like dis-ease being in my body. All the parts of me that were out of harmony were like screaming and flared up. And, you know, I did a lot of cancer treatment as well, and everything contributed to my wellness, but it was really when I brought ease and harmony and kind of love and acceptance back into my body, and I learned how to be in my body and how to soften and connect with myself and breathe more and connect with other people, therefore, that it reversed. So yeah.
And where did the whole music singing thing come from originally from you? Where was it, a family thing or what?
There's a lot. Yeah, my granddad was a wonderful jazz singer, and my auntie, she's a DJ on Phoenix FM. She's a beautiful singer as well. It runs in the family for sure. And yeah, it was in my blood. It was like always been the way. I've always felt very unbelonging and very alien and not very normal. But when I sang, I fit in and I felt like I belonged. But to some, you know, the earlier life, that was to kind of a fault because I would try so much to belong in music. But now I've learned how to really belong in all of life with that same sense of self through my music.
And so you're here now, you've got the EP coming out soon.
Yeah.
The other thing that we haven't talked about actually is that your musical repertoire is quite wide. Because you've had quite a few soulful house records out, for example, recently. Yeah. So talk to me about that stuff.
Yeah, it's always been really hard because I do so many things, as I said, like bringing them all together. But since I've come into this journey of integration and self-acceptance, I'm having loads of fun letting all my different aspects play. So I'm doing house music with Matt Early and Ray Hurley on some cool house labels. I'm doing something with an artist called Leroy, which is really beats and world music-y and dance and disco. Disco is a big love of mine. I do a lot of jazz, writing with some really beautiful musicians, Vodhart. And yeah, I used to tell myself I had to be one, but now I'm really allowing myself to like do it all. But this band is really where my heart is, where it all kind of comes and meets. And yeah.
So 3 years ago, you weren't sure what the future held for you. You know, you had cancer, everything. You didn't know if you'd sort of come through that. You didn't know if you'd ever be a mother. You've now come through that. You're now a mother. What does the future hold for you? What would you like? What's your dreams, hopes, aspirations now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was another shocking chapter. Yeah, I've got a 10-month-old now. Again, being a mother was another identity crisis, and I thought I was going to have to give up everything about me. And actually, it's kind of just deepening, and new layers are evolving. And as that happens, my values are expanding into, I've shared about my journey a lot. I've shared my story and my music, and that was beautiful. But I'd really I want to be a change maker with my music, and I want to give permission to others, especially when all this crazy stuff's going on right now. I want people to know actually how powerful they are when they dare to kind of give voice to all of the parts of themselves that they're afraid to give voice to. So yeah, I mean, immediately we're back in the studio. I'm going to bring the EP out of these songs single by single, and we've been shooting music videos that are very real. Like, we've got people from my life who the song was about in them. I like to say I'm creating alchemy through music, so it's real healing transmissions. The videos are transmissions and entities themselves that speak to a lot of people who can feel that the realness of that story or the lyrics or the songs. So that will come out. I'd like that to come out in a visual EP. And also today I've been thinking about maybe funding. I'm applying for funding, and I'd like to put on a big, amazing concert of the whole body of work, which is about 10 tracks. in a theatre, whether it's, you know, without an audience or not, we'll see what COVID holds, and do a real life interactive art performance with the songs and sharing the journey of alchemy and courage and truth. Yeah, and just do some big epic show. And
you talk a lot about alchemy, actually. What does that what does that mean to you?
I'm bringing it into the mainstream. Alchemy is a word, I think, because originally it is turning base metals into gold, and I like to use it when I'm speaking about, you know, we go into those most difficult places and we actually use it to ignite the most kind of true essence of us, and we bring that into something beautiful. So my music is alchemy because I wrote it when I had cancer and it was a dark time, but actually there was beauty in that darkness, and I believe like every single one of us is an alchemist by default, and that's what we're here for, is to alchemize into our creative expression. So yeah, I keep using the word to try and incept to make it less hippie.
Well, I mean, you're a huge inspiration. You have huge diatribes on all the different social media where it's incredible to read about your journey, your learnings, what you're going through and stuff. So I implore everyone to follow Abi. So where can people find you on social media? What's your information?
Yeah. Facebook and Instagram are my domains. So Facebook is facebook.com/Abi Flynn Singer, ABIFLYNN. And Instagram is Abi the Singer, ABI, the Singer. And I'm always posting things about my gorgeous baby and my gorgeous partner. I keep going to say husband. Not yet. I'll let you off the hook for a bit more. It's weird having a boyfriend who's a baby daddy. My boyfriend. And yeah, we're going to do some beautiful things in the future too. We're putting together like we want to do some music together and production companies that really help to alchemize people's gifts and bring them into art. So yeah, so I'll give him a shout out. Love you. Yeah. Okay,
so and you've got a website as well, haven't you, Abi?
I do. I had a lovely man called Michael working on my website. It's not quite finished, but you can go there. It's abiflynn.co.uk. It's sort of under maintenance, but there's some nice visuals. And yeah, look out for my videos, because those are really, I'm finding that that's where my real kind of unique talent lies now, is in bringing the visuals and the music together that kind of really like speak of the realness of these journeys. And yeah, the second one's about to come out this month, Testament to Love, and I shot that with some really good friends, and then we've got 2 more coming out soon. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much tonight. Everyone's really enjoyed it. This has been the first of the Global Soul online concerts. Yes. There'll be many more to come. Probably going to do one a month. Until such a time we can return to doing fully live events, or maybe we'll continue with the online stuff as well. Who knows what will happen in the future. But thank you all very much for watching.
Thank you all. Can I just give a shout out to my label Splash Blue and Bluey, and thank you guys so much. They've believed in me when I walked away from my last label, which was amazing because I was changing direction.
We didn't talk about that actually.
I know, maybe we should just shove that on the end.
We should, because today is an important day, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yes, I meant to say, Bluey, if you're watching, it is 19 years to the day that I met you, when you didn't know I met you, but I was 11 years old, and it was obviously the terrible day of the Twin Tower attacks. But I was 11, I didn't know about this, but I was in a music studio, and Bluey was there because he was a friend of my auntie's at the time. And I met him, and I always remembered him, but I didn't meet him through anyone. It was a complete coincidence that when I was 26, all that time later, and I had cancer, somebody sent him my music and he found me that way, and it was a really beautiful synchronicity there. So yeah, obviously it is a sensitive day.
And is it the date you met Bradley as well?
That was the 14th of September, so this is a special time of year for me, but or the 15th, something like that.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Abi. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching.